And Sheehan from Google said, hey, and she had an Irish accent, and she said, why don't we work on something together? Why don't we see how we can deliver products to customers using Google? And I said, great, I'd love to deliver cars. And she said, no. You can't deliver cars. You got to start out with what we call the LCD, the lowest common denominator, and that's service. I said, no, I want to deliver cars. And she goes, no, LCD, lowest common denominator. We're going to go wide, and then we're going to go tall. We're going to go wide. The largest base, we go tall. And that's where it started, which was how do we deliver a voice technology, a frictionless technology where someone can use Google and say, hey, Google, talk to Paragon Honda. And without them having to touch or swipe, we could arrange for someone to pick up their car, have it brought to the dealership, serviced, and brought back to their house. And, about a year later, that was completed. And when you realize all the different tech that we had to bring into play, which is how do you pay for it? How do you keep the customer communicated? And then how do you put that on the schedule? Or how do you keep the customer informed throughout that process? And we were a little bit ahead of the world at that time, because now when you do it, you can have it on your dashboard. A light comes on in the car and you can talk to the car and the car can talk to you. But that led us to doing pickup and delivery, communicating with our pickup and delivery service. And like I said, we're open 24 hours a day. And so you can have your car picked up after work, serviced overnight while you're sleeping, and put back in your driveway before you wake up in the morning.
And give us some more numbers on that. Like, tell us a bit more about just how it's impacted your profitability, your sales numbers, everything.
I seldom talk about the profitability of the dealership, but I can say that we've had 200 plus thousand transactions since 2017, and the gross profit on that's been over $60 million in gross. The average repair order, what it is if you come to the store. So all these people that are hesitant to do online transactions, the average repair order in the store is about $250. When we do a transaction where we pick up the car, it's over $500. And that's not because we're charging more, but the lessons for us have been so great. When you come into the store, let's say you have an oil change, you wait online 25 minutes. God forbid, but you wait online 25 minutes. We write you up, you sit down in the lobby, you wait a half an hour, we get your car in. So you're into this project for about a half an hour, and now we get your car up on the lift, and we notice legitimately you need front brakes. And you're sitting in the lobby and we say, Yoshi, you need front brakes. You have two questions. What are they?
How much is it going to cost me? How long is it going to take?
Correct. And I've spoken in Sweden, I've spoken in Denmark, I've spoken all over, and wherever we are, same two questions. And you're not going to like either answer. You're not going to like either answer. But when we've picked up the car, and you're not worried about the time anymore. The time is no longer a consideration. And so we're getting a lot of that work that needs to be done that the customers would say, hey, you know what? I can't, no, I got to go. I'll do it someplace else. I'll do it some other time. And what ends up happening, we're losing that business to the independent. My competition is not Hillside Honda. My competition is not Bay Ridge Honda. We thought that was a competition, right? We took a look at a heat map. And we looked in the New York metro area, and there were 6 Honda dealers within 10 miles. 6. And we thought that was a competition. There were 17,000 New York State inspection stations, 17,000 within 15 miles. It's the 17,000 independents that were eating our lunch. They get 80% of the service business. So in this case, when I say to you, you need brakes, you say to me, you know what, I'll get back to you. You leave. You drop the car off when you're good and ready, or you have your family member drop the car off at the local gas station to get that done. Not because they're better, they're just proximate. You don't have the time sit in my store to get that work done. So we're getting that work that we weren't getting before. So if you make better use of the customer's time, they'll reward you by giving the business to you, which was a really great finding that was under our nose the whole time that we just didn't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an example of something that in concept is so simple. Clearly, it's not simple to execute, but that's a true value add, right? For a consumer, for anyone. And we all value our time so much nowadays that it makes total sense.
Time is more valuable than money for the first time in history. Time is more valuable than money. And then you see the examples over and over again. You look at Amazon, look at the business, look at the growth they've had, and it's not the least expensive price. It's not the least expensive. They just drop it off at your front door. My wife is British. When she first moved to the United States of America, 25 years ago, thereabouts, Amazon just started out. And she was somewhat unsure of where to go shopping. And so she started shopping online. And I watched over the years the holiday shopping during the holidays.
Recently go to Amazon.
Right. And it was just insane where you couldn't get into the house with the boxes. And I guess that was replicated. They just made it too darn easy for to do business. And so I think that's the lesson, right? If you make it easy for people to do business, they'll do a lot more business with you.
Speaking of sales, tell me, how do you set your goals, right? Like, just tell us about, like, again, more numbers. How do you set your store goals? And whatever you can share, what are your goals?
Yeah, it's global domination. It's nothing short of that. Now we're looking to beat ourselves. We want to be number one in everything that Honda and Acura measures that's good. Number one in customer satisfaction. Number one in gross margin. Number one in volume. Number one in sales growth, sales effectiveness. You know, you go down everything that they measure that's good. We want to be number one in, and certified sales, new car sales, gross volume, customer satisfaction. You know, and it's a challenge. You know, it's a challenge, and sometimes we will hit the customer satisfaction, the President's Award, precision team, which they always said would be impossible for us as a Metro dealer. We got that, and some of the other things fell off. But we're putting together the right team now to get all of those things done. My new store up at White Plains, man, it's a struggle. I mean, you own the store and you think that's going to make things easy, and you find, you know, it's not quite.
What's the hardest part? What's the hardest part?
It's managing from a distance. It's 30 miles away, and you know, I would love to live in the store, but my obligations with Paragon, I can't do it. You know, I'm a partner here. I own that store with two associates. I can't. This store is too big, and if I don't pay attention to the Paragon stores, they'll get away from you. So I'm managing that from a distance. But I do have an associate that's going to be joining me up there in a role as general manager, and I'm excited about that because that gentleman and I have run together. He worked at Paragon for many years, and I'm happy to say I think he's joining me tomorrow at full time there, and that's the solution. You know, I'd say it's like I'm a quarterback and he's my wide receiver. I could throw the ball full speed, and he got, you know, I just call the play, and he'll get there. You know, the ball will get there just as he gets there. We know the playbook, and he'll add. He knows the drill. He knows what I want, and we, you know, we're looking at this as a good first step to doing many great things together. So I like to think of it as I planted a seed, a tree grew, the tree grew, gave me some shade, and now I'm going to get to eat some of the fruit from that tree. And he's going to enjoy some of that too.
I love to hear it. So I'm a curious guy. I mean, I want to know some more numbers here. So whatever you can share with us, right? So, I mean, let's just start high level, right? What units per year? I mean, revenues, right? Between units and service, like what can you share there?
You know, I'm targeting $1 billion in gross sales, and
so that's between Honda, Acura, the total group combined, right?
Yeah, and give yourself a return on sales, whatever makes you feel good, and that's the number.
Got it. And then when it comes to profitability of used versus new, again, I love this question that I heard recently at NADA, but do you view yourself as a new car dealer that sells used cars or a used car dealer that sells new cars?
I view myself as a dealer that sits on a stool, and that stool has 3 legs. And I started out my career as a one-legged stool. I was told I was one of the most profitable new car Honda dealers in the country, that one department. But I was a one-legged stool. And then a guy that worked for Mr. Singer, when he made me a partner, the guy went into Mr. Singer and said, "You should have never done that because Benstock doesn't know used cars." And I won't mention that guy's name. But when he said that to my partner told me that, he said, that guy said, and I said, "I want him out of here." And he said, "Nope." He said, "Nope, you don't do that. You'd rather him be jealous of you than feel sorry for you." "I want him out of here." I said, he said, "Nope, don't do it. I just wanted you to know." And instead of getting him out of there, I just got good at used cars. And so now I'm a two-legged stool. But I stunk at fixed ops. And then a couple of years later, I realized that fixed ops is just another sales department. And I started to get better at fixed ops. I'm still not great at it, but I'm getting good at it. And so those departments are so intertwined in feeding each other. I like to see each of those departments contributing equally to the bottom line at the store. So 2 million, 2 million, 2 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million, 4 million, 4 million, 4 million in gross per month. Those are the numbers I'm looking at.
You're also the number one certified Honda store in the world, right? So tell us about that, right? You mentioned trade cycle time, right? You want to get people to trade their cars in faster, but how do you strategically acquire all that inventory?
I'll give you a funny story. So there was a Honda breakout session at a Honda national meeting, and they're launching their certified program. And at the time, I wanted to get another Honda dealership. And Mr. Singer said, he gave me the Ben Franklin list, took out the yellow legal path, and made a list down here. And he told me, you've got to get working capital. I said, what's that? And he goes, we need working capital, the blue sky. And he got to the bottom of the list, and it was nearly $20 million. And I'm a young guy at the time. And he said, at what level are you ready to participate? And I think I had $200,000, which I guess would make me a 1% partner. And he said, listen, let's not do that at this time. And I was a little frustrated, but I get it. I go to this Honda meeting, and they're talking about the certified used car department. It's a franchise within a franchise. And they said, you don't need factory approval. You don't need any key money. And so I came back from that meeting. I was probably like one of 40 people that were attending that meeting that particular year. It was a breakout session. There's 2,000 dealers at the meeting, but back then things were great for Honda. Everyone after the major meeting went out to the bar. And I'm one of 40. And I came back and said, hey, let's get into certified. I told Sam Delenti, the zone manager at the time, I said, I'm going to be the number one certified dealer. I said, well, last year you delivered 12. I said, Sam, trust me, I'm going to be the number one certified dealer. And we started focusing on that. We set a target to do 100 certified cars in a month. And sure enough, we got 100. And I immediately, Yossi, look, hand to God, set the goal to do 200. And then we got to 200. And we set the goal to do 300. And really just understanding of taking those customers new and renewing. And I'd say we flattened out a little bit now with COVID and everything else, but we're back on the climb now, on the climb. We leveled off at about 3,000 certified used cars a year on the Honda side. But the focus this year will be getting back to those big numbers, 4,000 certified used cars. But what a wonderful franchise within a franchise we were able to develop. And for a couple of years there, we were the number one certified dealer in the nation, all brands. So it was pretty cool. And I got some award from Dale Pollock. And Dale, of course, he always had his statistics. And he said, Brian started out and he told the story about, my not being really good at used cars. And he said, and since then, he had the number, it was like 15,000 certified.
Chips on shoulders, put chips in pockets.
Yeah, I guess so. And Dale is a very special mentor to me and a friend. Dale Pollock. He's one of those heroes in the car business. Real hero.
Yeah. Dale's a legend. I get his blog delivered to my email. Check that out all the time. It's really insightful.